Hello and welcome to my attempt at making a so-called Forsen run in Path of Exile 2. In general, the Forsen run is a run where, and I'm assuming that he's going in blind as well. I know the game, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to copy the aspects that I can copy, meaning what I will do is I will clear every zone, no resetting, and no pausing during the zone. It's solo self-found hardcore, because that's a way to kind of limit the amount of influx of good gear that's going to help me overcome the challenges. So I'll be running every zone without pausing or without going to town. So the idea is that because I was thinking, how am I going to utilize the vendors, because probably that will be necessary to do so, but I think that with allowing to shop at the vendors after the end of each zone, so upon entering a new zone, I think that's a good way to do that. So not every level, I cannot go to town every time I want to, but I can do so after each zone and see what the vendors have. And that's what I'm going to attempt to do. And I'm going to be making a new character, obviously on solo self-found hardcore. I have no gold in my stash. This is the first character in Rise of the Abyssal League, so I'll be continuing here. Choosing class, probably I will be trying the Witch, because I have a specific build idea for the Witch, which I will talk about, I think, during the game, or maybe it will become apparent. So I'll be trying a Witch out for this particular run here. So with the only once per zone restriction, I will need to kill everything. I'm not quite sure that clearing everything here and or killing the miller first is going to net me the more experience. I think actually that killing the miller is the same as killing everything and the miller. I think the XP is going to go to level 2 no matter what. But I will kill, of course, everything here, because obviously I want all the XP that I can get my hands on. I am allowed to stand still in the zone. It's not like I cannot stay in the zone and stand still without fighting. That's not going to invalidate the run. But the idea is basically this would be invalidating the run. I think that's the concept that he's going with. Getting our 3 skellies here. The Witch opener with 3 skeletons and an ability that you can actually use like this is incredible. Oh, there's a piece of gear. Did I? I don't think I missed anything. Okay. It's not going to be as much of an explanatory run where I talk about what the things do and what not, as I've done in my previous obsession with Baldur's Gate. So this is going to be a series of smaller videos, but it's going to be focused on the game itself and just playing the game. So if you are unfamiliar with this game, I strongly recommend that you, if you're interested, go and watch other instructional videos. There are plenty of people who are very, very good at explaining the game. I mean, I can explain the game, but this is a very, very, very complex game. So getting into this, yeah. I think I will be going a little bit into the energy shield in the beginning. I know that, in fact, I know that this is in fact pausing the game, going in and doing your skills. So I'll allow for that when I'm not currently in combat with anything, because it's something you need to do in order to get stronger. So that's that. This is a very, very complex game. I mean, obviously, if you've played Diablo, you've played anything remotely reminding you of this type of game in ARPG, you're going to have a very good idea about what's going on. Playing the game in itself is not very difficult, but there's loads of the configuration of the classes and what things that work together with what that's very difficult. So one thing I will say though is that the Miller, and I think for a lot of people that's pretty common knowledge at this point, is that you just want to be beelining the Miller. You're fairly limited because you don't have a lot of skills currently at this stage, but the sooner you can get him down, the better. There's no reason to prolong the fight, so you basically just dodge everything and you just shoot him and get him down. I could, of course, at this point grab a couple of these guys because they are going to help me kill him sooner. There we go. There we go. Let's hope for uniques. No uniques. There's going to be a chest upgrade though. That's good. So now I can go to the vendor and see what the vendor has. And I currently have 371 gold, which I hope corresponds to what you have in the beginning. Because I think I haven't touched this part of the game yet. So the contagion is of course very strong, but I am going to go for the archer to begin with, because that's going to give me the snipe ability, or the command gas arrow, which I want to have access to very early. Alright, hello Una. Alright, so the idea is that I go to Una to see if she has anything that I need. And this is the point in time where there's a bit of a break. So before I head into the first zone, I'm going to look at the stuff that she has. Every time I do a level up, I get access to new stuff, but you know, I have to finish the zone so before I can go back to see what it is that she has for me. So there's that. Let's see, that would be good. That would actually be pretty decent. Oh, I do want that. 500 gold. Okay, it's not going to work actually. Spell damage, mana drain. The major problem in the beginning really is that I'm going to keep it simply. Okay. Right, so for my own safety, I'm going to buy as much basic gear as I can, because in the second zone it's going to be plenty of very, very difficult and strong monsters. So grabbing a couple of basic items here. Actually just as cheap as possible, really. Just need something to give you the basic survivability. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna head out. Yeah, and I need to clear everything, basically. So in the second zone, I'm going to watch out for the witches. I don't think it's going to be much of a problem with this at this level. And the witch is a very, very strong class. It has minions, it has... Just need to turn on the sound slightly. Or maybe I don't. One sec. There we go. The witch is a very, very strong opener. It has very strong, good defensive notes in the beginning. It has minions. It has power pretty much equal to anything in direct damage, because of its basic attacks. So on many levels, it's a great opener. I'm experiencing a bit of CPU problems here. Let's see if that doesn't change. Grabbing the checkpoint here, and I'm not exiting any zone, getting any waypoints before finishing the zone. So hopefully I can get to level 3, go back and reset the vendors and get something that I want. I'm assuming, without having tried this before, this is a bit like opening up the league with a new character having nothing. But I'm assuming that one of the big problems getting started, simply getting a bit of base gear to get to that point where you can actually kind of survive. Because in the beginning with no gear you are so weak. But having a bit of gear piece that helps raise your power slightly is going to be very, very good for you. Oh, there's the boss, and I'm unable to take her yet. So I am going to clear the zone before I go and see if I cannot find more stuff before I head up to her, for sure. With the exception of a few bosses, I think waiting until I finish the zone, collected as much gear as possible, is going to be a safe baseline for me. I'm assuming that the game is going to be difficult enough as is. There are plenty of things in the beginning of the game, in the early acts, that's going to be very difficult. Like, for instance, in this game, a lot of the bosses you fight are very, very difficult if you have none of the right defensive layers. And what I mean by that is, if you don't have the right resistances for the fight, for instance, one of the three elemental resistances in particular, fire, cold, and lightning, that can really be detrimental for that fight. So there are a couple of key points where you need to make sure that you collect specific things along the way to be able to make this on your first run. I mean, you can probably do this game without any resistances if you have a very high skill ceiling, but outside of that, I think that you do need a bit of those very specific gear pieces for your defensive setup, simply. All right, I'm going to grab more defensive layers here. All right, let's clear the last bit. That offense in the beginning is horrendous, but that changes fortunately very soon. The second that I get a couple of magical and rare items, then that's going to change. Right now I have 0 items. Alright, so at this point I need to kill the witch. I simply need to kill her. I cannot go back up. I need to go and kill the witch. There are no other... Oh, there's one enemy there, but that's not going to change anything. So that means I'm going to go and fight her now. So I'm actually interested in seeing how difficult those fights are going to feel. I mean, if I could have gone to the city to get a magic item... Oh, okay, we're on. Okay, so making sure to cast the poison from the... casting the poison from the... But the witch is simply, I mean, the mobs, my minions are even body blocking her. It's insane. Alright, so in the beginning of the game, the Orb of Augmentation and some of those items, I think, is going to be extremely valuable. What I really love about these games is the puzzling. I love the puzzle stuff. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Okay. So that concludes the first area. So that means I am going to be. I'm going to see how this works. No, I probably, because I do need to use the portals anyway. So I cannot exclude the portals. So I'm going to take a portal up, because otherwise you could argue that you could not use the portals, but there are a lot of situations where you have to use the portals. So, heading into Clearfell, and then I'm going to go down and fight the worm afterwards. The worm is kind of nasty if your defenses are very bad, and if your DPS in particular is very bad. So the fight is going to be very long. So I do want to try and up my power just a slight bit here. And so identifying some of these items is actually pretty interesting, because sometimes the identifying is going to be more expensive than which was the case for all of this stuff. Alright, so I am going to sell these. At this point you need gold. I'm going to sell this because the mana drain is going to be worthless to me if I don't have anything else. So that's the level up, and I do have a bit of gold to buy with. So let's see what I can do. Bone Blast, spell damage, physical spell skills. And the Bone Blast though is a little bit problematic because it's a circle. It has 1 second duration and then there's damage. So that's going to be very annoying to play with. And I'm not going to do that. Although I do want to go into bone spells. Let's see if there's a scepter that's going to be beneficial. This is very cheap and I can maybe improve this. Yeah, so it doesn't look like there's anything I want at this point. I could go into Firebolt. That could be good, but I'm not going to do that. And I'm just going to quickly look at Renly's outfit here, or options rather. And in the beginning, it's not very important that the movement speed could be nice for sure. Maybe I should just invest into movement speed at this point. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. And so we have a level up. We can use Contagion, but I'm not going to do that. Yeah, and I actually do have a couple of things. Actually, this is not the first time that I've started a character this season, so I'm just going to delete these things real quick. I'm assuming that the money is semi-close to what I'm expected to have. Right. All right. Just the principle of the thing. And I throw in my gem, and I have my augmentation here, which these are going to be very important. So I don't know that I can do anything else, or what I could do is see if there's a flask that's going to give me more power. No, none of that. All right, so I'm going to go and head into the mud barrows, and I'm going to take every zone at the corresponding level at this point. And I'm not going to go back, so that means although I do need to go back into Clearfell because I need, otherwise I cannot head into the next zone. I am going to go via the waypoint or the checkpoints and go straight straight into that next zone. I can revisit the zones, but not for killing stuff. Just for passing through. Yeah, so the next big upgrade is going to be some type of weapon. There's a bone wand. Prospect is promising. Although that's probably going to be the wrong spell there. We'll see. Alright, for the first points here we're going to do, let's see, damage, increased damage. Yeah, that's actually... Yeah, I am going to go this way in the beginning. I do need to. It's going to be a bit of a nerf because the nodes are slightly weaker in general for the witch for what I want to do. But so the early game just has to be a bit of a little bit of everything, where you just go with whatever is good right now, probably. And with the witch, as you see, my minions are just carrying me all over the place. They're protecting me, they're dealing damage, they are providing so much value, and my damage is still semi... It's bad, but it's still semi-contributing to killing these things. But the next level spell, a new level of Chaos Bolt, is going to do a world of difference. Yeah, so the checkpoint means that I've come across the boss room. So I'm just going to wait just a little bit with entering that zone and just clear out everything here. So in the early game, probably I'm going to go with a bit of an attempt of trying to bolster my my unearth ability. The unearth ability that creates minions for me, the small Zerg or alien-like type enemies walking around. Those are temporary summons that deal damage and then they disappear. So I'm going to probably go with trying to improve that spell for damage in the beginning, and also improve those minions, because that's an easy way to go. I do have a plan involving the bone segment of the spells for the witch, meaning the bone cage and the bone storm in particular. So when we get to that point, that's going to be, I think, a huge turning point for this character. It's actually interesting that in this run, I mean, I'm playing the Abyssal, League of the Abyssal, or the Edict of something, Third Edict, and the season mechanic is these huge rifts spawning monsters, and it's going to asynchronously change the power of my character, because every time you clear out one of these areas, obviously it's more loot, but it's a bunch of XP, because all of these guys, all of these rifts, they spawn, like, I don't know, a huge number of monsters. I would even go as far as to say in this zone it's effectively increasing the mob density by 25% or something. So the XP increase is major. So there's a checkpoint down here. That's interesting. So the worm is down here. And I cannot get another level. So no, I am going to clear. It's going to be just a couple. It's going to be 1 more minute, and clearing the rest is beneficial for the reason that it may give me a bit of loot, which I want. So if I can get just one single item, doesn't take much in the beginning to just gain that huge power spike. That's going to help me in the run. And this is a level 3 zone, so getting to level 4 and is beneficial, but definitely not necessary. Definitely not necessary. The boss is very doable. It's a bit like the miller. You have to focus fire him, and then you're able to get him down. But having very low damage, which is the case for me, is not very beneficial. It's a general tendency in Path of Exile 2 that the less damage you have, the more dangerous everything becomes. Because with very high damage you can skip 90% of every boss's mechanics. But with average damage you get to see all of it, and they enrage and everything. So it's... I need to make sure that my archers throws those arrows moving like this. Can kind of make it miss its attacks, so sometimes. Oh, damn it. There we go, there we go. And here we go with the ads, and it gives us, and now it's stunned. So the stun bar going to max is really good here. Let's see if we can get a bit more minions. I think this is going pretty well. Poison there is just very good. And now he's in that phase where he's going to do all kinds of mechanics. And the longer you keep, and this is an easy fight when you know the game, but the longer you keep these bosses in the fight, the worse everything just becomes, like exponentially much more worse. It just suddenly you're in a lot more danger that you believed yourself to be. What's going on here? Identify. Yeah, identify. Yeah, so I'm going to go back into town, and I'm going to keep these. Yeah, I'm going to leave those. And I cleared everything, so I'm heading into town, doing my thing, and then I'm going to go back into the next zone. Right. So this guy is happy and giving me a reward, which support gems. And I forgot to equip. I actually have a couple of support gems now. So in my stash, I'm going to go and let's see. Here we go. Throw some of that stuff in there. Some items with, since I'm playing a witch, I might as well sell this actually. But destroying these for crafting materials, something I can do slightly later, which I want to. But generally I don't need these as a caster. So I'm just going to buy her out here. Oh, there we go. Yellow items, thank you. See, here's the problem. Now I'm going to be put in a bit of a position because now I just got a staff that actually gives me high value on some elemental sorceress abilities, and so it's not something I want to do, but I'm kind of forced to do it because +2 level of fire skills is going to be the strongest burst increase that I can get. So I have to temporarily say bye to my abilities here and head into the let's see, why does it do this? Alright, so that means fireballs and with no spirit, obviously. So the support gems here is going to be Zenith, because that's going to increase the damage much further, and probably Pierce. I think, yeah, obviously, there we go. Alright, so those two are going to carry, not going to use the skill gems just yet. Yeah, so I did get augmentation orbs, and I'm going to keep these for now. Let me just quickly see if she has anything on this level that I want. But nothing is going to beat the item that I just got for free at this point. There are minion skills at this. So just going to the well to get the mana back up and porting to the next zone. So I'm absolutely certain that with this type of run, every choice that you make in the early game, I mean pertaining to what items do you purchase, what stuff do you pick up, everything is going to matter. And so even if there's like a lot of room to there's a lot of room to make mistakes and a lot of room to do wiggle room to do this and that. Having the right items is going to be very important. So at this point, I'm just frying everything with this new staff that has nothing to do with skeletons or bone spells. It seems a little bit like there are some network issues this morning, even though it seems like it's my CPU acting up. So that's interesting. It's a complete game freeze. What is going on? Okay, game shut down. Rebooting. Let me try a different server. I hope there's no rollback. I don't know if that means that the Grelwood is going to respawn, but obviously that's going to matter very little here. This staff alone is simply carrying. Yeah, everything is dying. It's interesting though that in this game, it's a little bit like items are the brunt of the game. So a single item can it's not like in the early game, things don't scale, they just jump. So yeah, you can say it's scaling, but in reality it's just like, okay, well, you just got a legendary item. That's what that happened. My power level went up by 500% from getting one item. Oh well. So that's how that works in the early game. Alright, collecting waypoints. I have a lot of problems right now. Okay. Adding more damage. So these nodes are slightly worse than the sorcerer nodes for damage. Okay. So they have some issues with their servers currently. I'll carry this as far as I can. If it keeps on happening, obviously I'll have to postpone this. And it is going to hurt the the expected progression a little bit, because the second that I have to leave the game for longer than 8 minutes, the zone will reset and I will get like a lot of free stuff. And that is not my intention. So maybe I should finish a zone and see if it and wait it out and continue once it gets better. But I'm really just amazed that just one staff, one little item here is just destroying everything. And I'm picking the 2 defensive nodes always in the opening to get the basic added defensive layer. So the first 2 defensive nodes for the witch and the sorcerer, for instance, that's a bit of energy shield, but it's a set amount, and the amount is extremely high comparatively to your life pool at that point. So getting those 2 points, I feel, is very, very good. And comparatively, the 10% increased damage or added damage is very minuscule in the beginning, in the opening. So getting those 2 survival points feels extremely valuable in the opening of the game. And I'm clearing everything, and then I'm going to do the couple of bosses that are hidden here afterwards. And I'm not going to skip anything. One of the scariest bosses in the game, it really is just around the corner. Grim Tangle. Getting one more level here, actually, I think could be pretty good. Oh, damn it. How I would hate working at a company that has to deal with server issues for their product like this, having to, you know, maybe they're being woken up in the middle of the night. Oh god, we have server stability issues. The entire player base cannot log into the game, basically rendering their service useless. Having to deal with that stuff must be so stressful. And I know that they're getting all kind of benefits or compensation basically for being available to do that. But still, it's wow. Yeah, so the guy in here is he's probably going to be very easy, considering that I have the firebolt staff here. So I'm not really that worried. One of the things that I do like about this game actually is that you need to make decisions based on, I mean, obviously in the late game, and once you get settled in the league on your account, and you have lots of stuff so that you can twink your characters. This never happens. You can do basically whatever you like, but having to make those decisions in the early game in a fresh start, where you need to decide. Is this item going to be better for me right now? Do I want to change my playstyle to accommodate this powerful item here? Is a huge boon in this game. It really makes the game very interesting. So let's see, summon a couple of. There we go. Alright, so the rifts, one of the things about the rift is that all of the mobs deal, well, not all of the mobs, but a portion of the mobs deal chaos damage. I think these deal fire damage. So some of the mobs are inherent to the area, and some of the mobs are spawned from the abyss. And the abyssal monster spawned can just be a nasty round of stuff. But obviously to me it's a huge advantage because I get loot and I get XP. Thank you. I'm not going to craft any items in the early game because obviously I could get some items that hugely benefit my particular character and my defense systems, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go with the items that drop, that work, whether they give me additional armor, evasion, or energy shield. That doesn't matter. So the red veil is here. Now I think did I cover everything now? I covered everything now. So now I need to go do the boss fight. Right, so we're going to proceed to the first boss fight, which is the witch. So that we need to go and find the witch up here. Oh, there's a bit of lag again. There we go. We're going to port. Oh, that was the wrong place. Oh, the witch. I didn't take the waypoint. Okay, checkpoint. Let's go just run up there then. But I'm very, very curious to see straight off the bat how much power this staff is going to give you. I think it's going to be an extremely powerful... Let's see. Yeah, she dies. Look at this. She just dies. She dies. And there's an amulet, and that's a very good thing. This is probably where I want to put my orbs. Yeah, well, doesn't do anything. Okay, so that's the witch, and then we go and do the Devourer. Or not the Devourer, but the... I forget what the name is. This boss is just... It feels a little bit like they introduce very, very, very scary... Oh, he's weak to fire. Look at that. The red stuff in the top below his portrait is his weaknesses, and he's weak to fire. But this boss introduces the one of the most scary mechanics in the game at a very early stage, and I think that everybody who played PoE at any point tried to die to this boss, and it feels violent to die to this guy. Okay, all right, let's head on. So now I'm going to head, the next zone is going to be the Red Veil. So I'm going to go here and port up and do my thing, and then go back. So I'm not going to go back and loot, I'm just going to pick whatever I can carry, and at the end of the zone, that's what I get to keep. So that's the way that I intend to play this. And I'm just giving some of these items a look. I think it's worth it to identify the stuff, even if the value is lower than the identification scroll itself. So armor, dex, and then that's evasion also, and our life regeneration. I feel that this is still better. I'm just going to sell this. So we're not going to disenchant things. I'm going to be very economic with my orbs for transmutation and creating new items. So I don't intend on spending anything that I don't need. I don't think I have anything that I could unearth some of these. I could unearth the duration. I think that's going to be necessary no matter what. So I am going to go and improve my unearth, I think. Yeah, because that's valuable. All right, let's go back. And I forgot to look at her inventory. this time. I don't think it matters. The staff is going to carry me so far that I don't really care for anything outside of defensive items, so I'm not going to spend any time looking at anything while I have the staff. It's level 1 or level 2? It's level 2 Firebolt. This is incredible. Like at this point, you're going to be able to in this zone you get access to the level 3 skill tier. So the level 3 skill tier is going to be the baseline of your power. So currently I have a level 2 Firebolt with a +2 to fire skills, effectively making it level 4. So that's already better, but then moreover it has increased spell damage. So it's going to increase the damage probably so that the value is maybe level 5 or something, which is much better than what's expected here. I think if you average level 2 at this point, level 2 skills, you're going to be able to do it without too much hassle. But level 5 approximately is just absolutely bonkers. Even if the clearing of this is not very effective, so bringing in a couple of friends here might actually help. So at this point, using the contagion from the occult tool set or the spell school that the witch defaults to could probably be good, but having to spend time throwing that spell and making it bounce around at this point with having to use support gems to get it up and stuff is not something I want to bother with, because I don't plan on using contagion anyway in this run. It's definitely the strongest map clear probably in the game, but this is not the intention of this run. And so because the support gems, I mean in this type of run, the support gems are going to be one of the most important resources. So using these resources too soon is not advised. You want to make sure that you use them correctly, and you want to make sure that you keep them for those skills that you need to upgrade or to build. Sorry. I probably am missing a couple of monsters, but to be fair, clearing everything is not my playstyle. So it is something that I need to really focus on, making sure that I don't neglect too many mob packs. Getting all of the XP, I think, for this type of run is very important. Grabbing another point, and at this point I'm just raising my power, and then I'm going to switch over to some more defensive layers later on. I think with the Firebolt staff here, I think focusing on the power now is going to give me more defensive stats, because I can convert my offense to defense by killing things very quickly. So I don't see right now. I don't see the point. All right, here he is. So do I want to kill everything? No, I don't, because I'm not going to get that extra level. So I'm just going to go and fight him. See, there we go again with the volatile plants. And that is just one crazy early game mechanic to deal with. And he's lightning vulnerable, but still. Just want to look out for those. But with so much single target DPS, probably it's the same, a little bit like fighting the Miller. You just want to focus him down quickly to avoid having to fight all of that stuff, and also having him use all his mechanics all the time. But it's not a particularly mechanically difficult fight once you get the hang of it. He has like 2 or 3 attacks that you need to dodge, and you need to make sure that you move out on certain occasions and stuff. That's pretty much it. But a very, very strong single target ability like this, with a little bit of a splash, is good enough for the early game clear for sure. I think this is going to carry me until level 10, to be fair. Don't sprint into monsters. Okay, that's it. So that's it for the zone. And I cleared 99%, I think. Let's just check the last bit here. No monsters. Right, so that's the zone. So I head up. Oh wait, I head over to the checkpoint here. And then I go to town. At this point, the item value, I think, on a lot of items start exceeding the 25 mark, which is what you want. So you don't lose money, at least. And I'm keeping the I don't need that. I'm just keeping the socketed stuff for later, for when I get... Alright, so the level 3 stuff is here now. I can get the Bone Cage spell. So the Bone Cage spell is going in here, but it's not going to be used just yet. I don't want to... I'm not at level 10 yet, so I'm going to head back into the fight. Probably having that in my inventory is a pretty bad idea, assuming I'm not going to sell it. Alright, so heading into the Grelwood again, with the intention of heading into the next zone. Breaking the seals. Right. And then we head to the Grim Tangle. Okay. So the boss down here is a really nasty guy. Deals a lot of chaos damage and all kinds of things, but I'm assuming still the same thing is going to the sex. As long as I have an advantage on the level on that staff and increasing the spell damage in my passive tree, I have a sensation that this is going to be doable. If the lag and the server disconnections does not kill me. But let's see. Here we go. Thank you, Una. Let's try this out. Oh, there we go. So the fungal proliferators with the poison breath, or whatever that is, chaos damage breath or fungus breath or whatever, coupled with the abyssal mechanic, I think probably some of the more scary things I'm going to encounter. Don't stand in the yellow stuff. I am taking this a little bit easy because the abyssal mechanic is grossly overtuned. I can't imagine new players playing this season with this mechanic not feeling slightly overwhelmed by the amount of deaths that they're going to experience in the abyssal, and also as a pure hardcore player, having to play through this season as a first season with experiencing the game for the first time. This mechanic is going to kill me, I think, more than once. Come on, game. Getting items with cold resistance right now is paramount for the final boss fight of the act. I am going to stack cold resistance for that fight. So getting a belt with cold resistance right now is actually a lot better than it sounds. It's a very, very strong item at this point to get. Any cold resistance items you can get and fire resistance items in the first act is, I think, a pretty good investment. Fire less so important than frost, but fire still kind of good for the second last boss of the game. That deals a lot of fire damage. But outside of that, most of the bosses that you fight are going to be dealing physical damage, and they're going to be dealing chaos damage. I think chaos damage is a component, so that's going to be most of your trouble. Chaos damage and physical damage, not as much the other stuff. That's the exit. So we're going to go back. look for the guy. And here we go, boss fight. And I think he might be either fire vulnerable or maybe it's just a general power. This fight can be a really big deal if you are unlucky. Okay, looks like we emptied out the cave, but like the fireball staff is carrying me all the way through without any kind of trouble. It's really insane how one item can just carry you. Oh, that was the new zone doing my shopping. Oh my god, look at that. I mean, it's better than what I have, but look at that item. It's just like that's a win item if you're playing this game as a physical damage dealer. Perhaps one of the best leveling items I've seen in the game drop for me at all. Go upgrade. See if Una has a ring or two that I can actually use. Oh, she doesn't have any rings. What about the staff? Okay, all spell skills. Yeah, not worth it. Not worth it. Even with a level 3 lightning bolt, that's a level 5 lightning bolt. Level of all skills. So that one is. This is actually a pretty good wand right here. +1 to all skills and added cold damage. I still think it's not going to be as much of an increase in power as I want it to be. to be fair. The lightning bolt is a pretty strong contender. It's a level 3 lightning bolt plus 2 all skills. Is a pretty strong contender to the firebolt at this point. Actually, nah. I'm saving my resources. Saving the resources. Okay, so heading into the next zone, Cemetery of the Eternals. So I'm clearing out everything, and then I'm doing the two. And then I'm doing the two tombs. Let's see the Praetor. I actually do want to identify this real quick. Windhag, so I can actually up that to add rarity of contained items. I think that's good. So orbing the strong boxes can increase the loot and different things, but it can also just give you a more hard time. So I'm not quite sure when it's advisable to do so. And the orbs are very valuable right now, but I have 7 of them, and I'm never going to use that many in the early game at least. All right, so at least I got something I can sell. Here we go. Ring time. Mana ring, please. No, iron ring. Okay then. I am going to enchant that to see if I can get some kind of value. +2 to attributes. Oh well. I love how the relative value of things in a game like this, when you have nothing, it's just a tiny upgrade can be a huge upgrade, as compared to when you know exactly what you're going for and you have a lot of resources available. Then suddenly all of these items are just, trash. Not valuable in any way. And the runes are pretty important, I think, in the early game, because you do want to try to socket for the cold resistance. So you do want a couple of cold resistance runes. And if you're really lucky, as a caster, having some runes that's going to improve your damage on your weapon is probably also very good. But the resistance runes in the early game are just insanely important. Okay, so these guys, they're fire resistant, so that's the problem here. Okay then. He's invulnerable, but let's see if he dies anyway. Oh no, I triggered the abyssal. Oh, the horror. Oof. Bothering dodging this. I mean, if he had some serious damage increase stats, I would probably be more afraid of him, but at this point he's just annoying. Yes, thank you. These guys though, move away. Regal Orb, not bad. And the superior items, particularly the one that adds armor, is very important to keep at all times, because you want the ability to improve the quality of the gear that you're wearing to the point where you get a lot of extra energy shield, extra armor, extra evasion, depending on the type of clothing you're wearing or the armor you're wearing. But the armor scraps that you get from destroying the superior armor pieces is just very, very good. And I'm just collecting all of those orbs, and so regal orbs, alchemy orbs, exalted orbs, anything that I can get my hands on I'm going to keep, and I'm going to use them for that special item that I know is going to provide the most value before the final boss fights. And so by preparing for the final boss fight and being strong at that point, you're also preparing for the second act, where the opening of the second act already is going to provide you with some very, very nasty opponents. Yeah. So very soon I do need to make a decision though. The the lightning staff, I don't know. I think the damage is going to be higher on the attack spell, because I think that the level 3 skill gem that's inside of the staff, level 3 lightning bolt from the staff that Una was trying to sell me, I think actually could be a lot stronger in principle. It is stronger, but I think could be enough of a power creep to actually make me want to go and get that staff. But like if I'm level, it's going to disappear. But the lightning bolt, I think with the 2 added, I don't even care about if it's all spells, because I'm going to replace it anyway, but even lightning spells alone would be strong. But let's see what she has when I get up there in a moment, because I'm going to level now. If the game is going to allow me. There we go. And now the vendor inventory is going to change. So maybe no, I'm still going to move for the power, because the defense, the next defensive nodes are not going to matter until I get to a point where I have the right gear for that energy shield increase. So that's what I'm waiting for, but the damage still holds up all of the time. It's always good. So that is the focus here. I am going to clear, so let's go. And the firebolt still holds, but I am a little bit concerned that it's not going to hold against the final boss of this area. Maybe it is, but the lightning bolt definitely is, and that's also would also carry me further. But at that point I didn't have any way to improve that item. If I had regal orbs and exalted orbs, probably at that point I would have done it. But it also prevents me from changing my setup to the bone spell focused tech that I want to try and go for. So there's that. Alright. Okie dokie. So that clears up this area, and I'm going to go into the 2 of the Consort. I think, yeah, 2 of the Consort. I don't think this doesn't matter. I'm just going to go into town to do my shopping break. I'm just looking forward to the point where the value of those identifications exceed the value of the scroll. All spells. Oh, it still persists. So it's level 6, and I think the next level of staves is level 10, if memory serves me right. So there is a bit of a jump until I get to that point. It could be funny to take this and then give it a Regal Orb. Mana regeneration, light radius increase. Okay, let's see what the difference is. So we go and check the DPS. 72, 74 for that. And 78 for that, but then the support gem would add the shock, so the increased chance to shock, and that's going to make a difference. I think that DPS is going to be higher, to be honest. Let's leave this in the stash. And I think we're going to increase the unearth just to keep that on the roster. There we go. All right, 2 more the consort. There is one small bonus of having all skills, and that is the fact that my unearths are going to be a lot stronger. Yeah, so it still slams these enemies completely. So this is going to, I think this was the right decision. The AoE is slightly worse, but the damage I think is going to be better. And the way that the unearth improves, and I've actually haven't really done anything with the bone cage, so maybe this is the right time to check what happens if I add the bone cage. Because I do have all skills, so bone cage in principle should work. I think this is better than spamming lightning bolt. Yeah, it is for sure. Oh Jesus, the lag. Also, having 2 types of damage, particularly in the early game, is pretty good. If you can sustain a reasonable amount of damage on both types, strongly recommend. So the bone cage uses physical damage, and the lightning bolt of course uses lightning damage, and that's just not bad. I mean, it just isn't. And all around, I mean, the character is vulnerable. At some point I could die if I'm not paying attention, but the character is in a very good spot damage wise, so that's going to carry, I think. And there's a new chance at a necklace here. I'm looking for anything that's better than what I currently am using, and I think the life and the critical is. So there we go. Do I need to upgrade anything? Nope, not at this point. Yeah, I do need to socket this guy up. The bone prison needs support gems, so that's what I'm going to do now. Spell cascade is less area effect. Cascades 20 less area effect. Supporter skills less damage. Supporter skills affect areas on either side. Area. I'm going to try this out. I think it's a DPS nerf of about 20% or something, 25%, but I do think it could be good enough. Let's see what happens here. Then we have the boss. So we're just going to clear. So the so one of the gimmicks by using by piggybacking off of the abilities on the weapons in the early game is the support gem called Zenith. Zenith only works if you're at full or 90% mana or more, and so the ability is very, very good when you have a very strong cantrip or very strong staff or wand ability on a high level, and you're using the Zenith support gem. That's very, very good. I wonder what kind of problems they're currently dealing with. Oh God. We have a voltaic staff again, so let's see. Let's see. 2 levels of lightning spells and mana. So, I mean, the 2 all spell levels is actually, very worth because of the bone cage becoming just a beast in this character's progression. So we're going to keep using that, and also having that ability to simply going out and just destroying all of the destructibles and getting the loot is just fantastic. Having some kind of ability where you click once and then boom, loot appears. That's pretty good. Bit of a run back. All right. Heading up there. The sprint function of this season is just the best addition to the game, for real. It is the best addition. So what I could do is I could go and I do have access to some of these nodes, so I could go and get extra maximum energy shield. But probably what I want to do is go through the cast speed sequence here and head into this one, and then maybe add this on top of it and not do the others, because then I get the more value, more bang for my buck, and I get more time to assemble a pure energy shield setup, which I need for that to actually matter. Otherwise the nodes are very, very dead. Okay, let's see what happens with the wait, what is this? Let's see what happens here. So there's no setup, there's just a fight. I think the I have the lag again. Lightning bolts, depending on her resistances. Let's see what happens here. She's extra strong towards physical damage, so I think having the lightning bolt here is going to be valuable. Oh God. Maybe they fixed the bone cage. Normally you can just dodge roll out, which is definitely not intended. Yeah, the lightning bolt spam carries, but I think the fire would have as well, so she's cold resistant. Wait, oh, that was an accident. I didn't even get the quest item. Alright. So that's the end of a zone technically, so I get to go to town. Which of course I will. So I'm still identifying everything. And that's the rare belt with 0 resistance or anything else, so those are just getting sold. Everything is getting sold. I just need the money. Oh wait, that was not something I wanted to sell. And I don't know, the voltaic stat sparks I think is going to go as well. Don't need it. Wait. The belt can stay with a round of level. Oh, okay, lighting it. Okay, so lighting resistance. At this point, I'm just saving everything for the event that I actually needed, and I could need it. It all depends on my luck. Okay, so that's the. Okay, there we go. I forgot about that. So the flask is now upgradable, which is instantaneously the choice that I'm making. How about all of them? I didn't check the items. I'm still looking for spell skills and something. A level 4 Chaos Bolt with increased spell damage, but no Chaos spell increase. That would have been an instant purchase otherwise. Because then I get to go back to having minions, which I want at a very soon point. Sell. Okay, so let's see. Well, and I do need to buff this up to see if I can't get extra amount recovered. That's very, very good. So now it's a full health pool that it's recovering. See, at this point, the notes are going to change. I need to choose physical or very specific spells, and I don't want to do that just now, so I'm going to head into the cast speed section here, and then we're going to head back into the fray, and then we're going to go to the Praetor mausoleum. And so I do need to go back to the areas, because otherwise I'm unable to finish the quest. So obviously that's allowed. Yeah, so these guys are lightning resistant, the whole bunch. So that's great. These barrages I discovered with one of my hardcore characters. I'm going to get frozen in a moment. It's very nasty. Don't want to get frozen. How do I approach this? I'm going to go around, I think. Or clear everything else and go around and take them from behind, for sure. Ooh! Extra fire damage, that's the thing. So having the desired damage type is actually a lot better than it would seem. There is the choice of grabbing the firewall for this, which I probably should have, and I will. I don't need it for any of these spells. The lightning bolt is not going to be affected. The bone cage, I'm not quite sure if that's going to be affected, even though it kind of branches out. So right now it's not that important. If I was using the Chaos Bolt, probably I would have the firewall, I think. But there are going to be spells later that I need that are going to benefit hugely from that extra upgrade. I like it how the Eternal Knights, very good design, to be honest. The Eternal Knights are kind of like a skill check, or an I wouldn't say an idiot check, but what I mean by that is you meet these guys and you shoot them and they return the damage from their shields, and if you have no idea what's going on, you're most definitely going to take a death there. And so it's just such a good design, but the problem is, once you know how they work, you just face tank them, and the second you face tank them, they don't do a lot of damage and they don't return any damage. So it fixes the whole issue of kind of solving that problem. And I've killed more than one of my friends in multiplayer on hardcore through that mechanic by shooting from range, and they've been melee and dying to that. So it's definitely very dangerous. All right, so let's see. Did that cover everything? Well, there's still rooms in the bottom. This dungeon is very big, so I am going to go and discover the entirety. I also need the hidden riches, so I do need to go through that. Oh my god, I don't want to. Okay, there we go. Uh-oh. But there's a lot of freeze there. And these guys do freeze. Oh yeah. I mean, the chaos those chaos barrages. If you, I don't know how much damage they deal, but they deal a lot of damage. And if you are unfortunate grabbing 2 or 3 bolts, that's, I mean, I died to that once. Fair enough. It's not a huge skill check, but what I'm saying is that it's a mechanic that you need to look out for in the early game, at least. And also those lightning spamming guys. It's just, there's something about lightning damage that takes me by surprise every time. I want to pick up those. I do want to pick up those because I do want the option to switch to energy shield. So in principle those could be good, but they need the movement speed. I do already have energy shield though, so that's the tattered rope. That's the, or maybe this one is what I'm going for. 22 energy shield. Yeah, we'll see once we get there. Oh, look at these items. Look at those insane martial items. It's like, it's no joke. Like the improvement, the power of added damage in the early game is unbelievable. Okay. Then I don't have the ID scroll to do that one, but you know, we'll be fine. Porting back. Is there anything else? No, I didn't get any other waypoints. And so with the resistance, yuck. So I think probably if I have the required support gems, I'm going to be switching to Bone Storm next level. I think it's next level. But I have to wait and see if I have the required support gems, because otherwise it's not going to work the way I want it to work. But I'm going to switch to that spell practically immediately. And at that point I'll be looking for like I think maybe I'll keep the scepter obviously, because right now the power of the added spell level is going to be better than anything else outside of another staff with spell levels, but a one-hander with spell levels and stuff is going to be preferable. Alright, let's go. Boss fight. So this guy is slightly, I don't know if he's harder, but his consort joining in makes the fight a little bit more interesting. So this guy is also not vulnerable to lightning, so that's going to be the thing here. And there we go. Let's try the bone spells. Let's just see what happens here. Okay, I'm not doing that. Not worth it. I mean, this is safe. It's not super fast, but it's definitely safe. But dropping to like 10% hit points is not how I want to spend my Wednesday morning. Okay, so Wicked Tiara. Is there anything else I want to bring? Not really. No. But I could easily lose my life on any of these fights if I'm not paying a lot of attention and being very careful. So I'm going to head over here. I have both of these now, the keys, and I'm going to go to town. And then just do my thing and go and fight Lachlann. And I think actually I'm going to range him, and I'm going to range him by using the lightning bolt spell. We don't need that many scrolls just now, but I do need to. Oh, there we go. Life, energy shield, fire resistance, maximum life, cold resistance. Increased energy shield. No, it's not even that good. It's going to be sold. Or maybe I want to keep it for the... Yeah, I'm going to keep it. Selling. Fire skills. Yeah, there we go. There is the that was the exception, right? Increased spell damage of 85%, 2 level 2 all fire skills, and a level 3 firebolt. So that's going to be better than what I'm currently doing. Maximum life. Boom. Upgrade. Selling. Yeah, so now I need to make a choice. I'm going to stash this for... There's a fight that I need to do. I'm going to stash it for that fight. Stashing this, Storm Rune, none of these. Oh yeah, they do add a gain damage on the weapon. So the Water Staff gain damage is very strong. So I could. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, so first of all, if I add the staff here. That's the higher damage, and we add the zenith, and so the damage here is not going to add. It doesn't seem to add. Oh, it does add. And then the pierce, which is going to reduce projectiles and supporter skill steals if they pierce an enemy. So it's not going to be a problem. And then I want to see if I can add anything to my bone cage. I need more strength to do that. So I do need more strength, and that's actually something that I want to attempt to get. All right, so that's actually the deal here. I think I'm going to keep my staff here in case, because I don't remember all of the resistances. But if I get into a fight where the resistances are something else, I think it could be interesting to just switch on the fly. And now I want to see if there's anything I can purchase real quick. It's the same as last time. I didn't get an upgrade, but maybe Renly has things. Maximum energy shield. The items that I upgrade to needs to be very good for this to make any sense. Cold movement speed, cold resistance. and armor evasion. Well, this is a major upgrade. I'm going to get this. I'm going to throw those out. So the belt, the fire resistance belt, probably also. Planning a little bit ahead here, but I am getting those lightning, fire, and now cold. I have all of the three, and then we're going to head in and fight the guy. This is probably the hardest. This is not as hard because I'm a ranged character, so I am going to be able to kind of utilize the kiting a little bit, but it's still going to be majorly annoying. And then I'm going to get to level 11, which I'm looking forward to. So now in a moment we're going to respec, and I'm going to be able to get more strength, and I think I do want that to get the other support gem for the bone spell. Ooh, a lot of range on that. Yeah, but the fire damage is going to be his demise. Yeah. All right. So more cast speed, obviously, and the cast speed for the cantrip spell on the weapons is absolutely stupid. And so I am returning to fight the guy, and then I'm actually re-entering the zone to do so. But I'm considering the boss fight a unique instance. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. Even adding to the rules that you're able to go to town and take that break after each of the boss fights, I think would be a fair thing, because then you could you could strategize on going and fighting a boss to get access to town and then getting back down. I think that could make a lot of sense. All right, so the hooded one is now freed. This guy is going to identify my items for free. So that is going to be something good. There we go. There we go. And immediately, once you go and you make a purchase, a very expensive item at that, which is pretty good, I get a pretty strong energy shield item, which I need to equip immediately. And now I need to change my strategy for the setup. I don't know if I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put it in my stash and we'll find out later. Yeah. Still selling. Alright, let's go to the hunting grounds. Oh, and here, now I need to actually equip my voltaic staff, I think, because I need my lightning power here. I need the spell levels for the bone stuff here. Because this is like a pure AoE fest, this zone. Oh god, I died. Oh well. Okay, well that was the first attempt. I'm going to cut the video short here, and I think make a new video, attempt the same thing, probably the exact same thing, clear out the stash, the inventory, and try again. Thank you very much.